Welcome to Channel 6 News, Gainesville's #1 spot for news. I'm Max Jasmine with co-anchor Pierce Haggard.
Today we have a very special guest, Donald Whitmore from the University of Florida, giving us some insight on the topic of time value of money. Let's give a warm welcome to Donald. Welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Really glad you could join us today, Donald. Thank you for being here.
Thanks.
I appreciate it.
So let's get into it. We brought you here today to talk about the time value of money. Can you give our viewers the basic idea of this concept?
Well, basically, guys, time matters. A dollar today is worth more than a dollar tomorrow. So the time value of money is the idea that money available at the present time is worth more than the same amount in the future due to its potential earning capacity. So this core principle of finance holds that provided money can earn interest, any amount of money is worth more the sooner it is received.
Very insightful, Donald. Can you show us some examples, possibly?
I'd more than happy to. Okay, first, let's look at the formula for time value of money. I'll describe each variable that goes into this formula in the following slides, where future value equals present value times 1 plus the interest rate over the number of periods raised to the number of periods times the amount of years represented by t. Okay, what we're trying to find is the future value of our invested money, where future value is the value of an asset at a specific date. It measures the value of a sum of money in a future specified time, assuming a certain interest rate. Moving on to the PV of the equation represents present value, which is the current worth of your sum of money to be evaluated in the future. Then we have I representing the interest rate, which is the rate of return that is charged as a percentage of the principal. So next we have the number of compounding periods per year represented by N, and this could be either once a month, which is 12 periods, or once a year, which would only be 1. And then the last variable of our equation, t, is simply time represented by the number of years. So now that we know what each variable within our equation represents, we can use the equation to find out exactly what our money in the present is worth in the future. So in our example, assume we have $1,000 to invest for, let's say, a year with a 10% interest rate. Plugging the numbers into our equation, we have our investment of $1,000 times 1 plus our 10% interest rate divided by the number of periods 1 raised to the number of periods 1 again times the number of years, which is 1. After calculating with the plugged in numbers, we get $1,100, effectively giving us $100 investment return. So depicted in this graph shown here is the relation between time and your future value, and this shows you the increases in your returns given the different interest rates at hand, where obviously 20% is much larger than your 5% interest rate. So after looking at the future value, we can look at the present value, which is simply finding the current value of a future value of money. We can rearrange the formula to obtain this present value seen below. So it's the same we had in the future value. We use the same variables we had before in the present value. And in this specific example, we want to know what the present value of $1,100 received 3 years from now if the interest rate is 8%. So in order to find the present value, we use the formula seen below, which is simply the future value formula rearranged. After plugging in the numbers into our new equation, we find that the present value of $1,100 in 3 years is $873.22 today. Seen in this graph is the complete opposite of the graph shown previously regarding future values. As interest rates increase, our present value decreases. For example, at an 8% interest rate, if you had $1,000 investment return, it would have taken you 40 years to count back to your original investment of approximately $50.
Donald, thank you for the in-depth explanation of the time value of money. And now it's going to be time for some Twitter questions from our viewers.
So for our first Twitter question, we have Kristen from Orlando. She wants to know how long it would take her to double her money. She has a $100 investment with a 5% interest rate.
Well, Christian, there's an easy way to estimate this. It's called the rule of 72. 72 divided by the interest rate gives the approximate length of time it takes for an investment to double. So you take 72 divided by the 5% interest rate, and you get 14.4 years. So Kristen, it will take you about 14 and a half years to double your money.
All right, we have time for one more question. Tyler from Jacksonville wants to know, what are the different methods of finding future and present values?
Well, Tyler, there are multiple methods of finding future and present value. You can do it by hand, like I showed you. You can also do it in Excel on your computer or simply with a financial calculator.
All right, folks, that's it for us tonight. We'd like to thank our guest, Donald Whittemore. I'm Max Jasmine, and my co-anchor, Pierce Hagen. Thank you for being with us tonight.